On Sunday, May 3rd, town historian Fred Wallace discussed his new book, Pushing for Cushing in War and Peace, A History of Cushing Hospital, 1943 to 1991, to a full house at the Framingham History Center. Wallace relied heavily on in-person interviews to reconstruct the wartime history of the Cushing Hospital and how in peacetime it became a leader in geriatric medicine. Wallace gave highlights of and shared pictures from the book, invited people to share their own stories of Cushing, and signed copies for interested readers.
I came to work at the History Center as a volunteer back in 1996, and early on in my time there, I was rummaging through the archives and came upon a box labeled Cushing Hospital. When I opened it up, I was just fascinated with what I found, that the U.S. Army had built a hospital here during World War II, and the stories of the patients and their war experiences. While I was at Cushing, I had 6 operations. I know there was a lot of other fellas had a lot more than I did, and there was a lot of guys a heck of a lot worse off than I was, for sure, especially in 309 South. I started asking questions around town, and I discovered that almost everybody, as soon as you mention Cushing Hospital, people say, oh yes, I had a relative. My father, my brother, my cousin had something to do with the hospital. So I thought, well, I've got some material here for a possible book. Student groups from local schools were often in the hospital, entertaining or volunteering. There was a group from Ashland High School called the Corralettes, a girls' choir.
We would sing in each ward a few songs, right up close and personal for the patients. Our leader, Mr. Weinberg, wonderful man, always made sure that we dressed in our brightest, prettiest clothes, no uniforms, and that we said hello to everyone we passed in the corridor and spoke to the patients and looked right in their eyes when we sang. I think it's wonderful how other people pitched in and helped out the kids with their spaghetti dinner and all that. My church group in Ashland, not the Corralettes, came on Sundays and wheeled the patients to church in the chapel too. And many, many groups like that. I thought the support of the community was just wonderful, and I think all the kids should read that. The most striking thing about the history of the hospital is the way the citizens of Framingham and surrounding communities rallied around the hospital from the day it opened to give it their full support. Volunteering, endless hours of volunteering. The community gave it their full support, and it's a tribute to the people of our town as much as anything.